Good day, everyone. The topic for today's lesson is preposition of movement. Before we start, let's do some warming up. Here we have 3 examples. Can you figure out what words to fill in the blanks? You have 5 seconds to think about it. Time's up. Let's check out the answers. The cat is in or inside the box. I go jogging at 5 o'clock in the evening. The little girl jumped into the water. These words in the box are known as preposition. The word in this example is a preposition of place or location that tells us where. The words at and in here are preposition of time, which tells us when, and the word into is a preposition of movement or direction that shows where is it heading to. And this is the highlight for today's lesson. The prepositions of movement we will be focusing on today are along, across, and through. Let's start with along. We use along when we talk about movement in a linear direction. Linear is like a line. Linear direction means moving in a long, straight or nearly straight line, like the car in these 2 pictures. Along the road. Move along the road. Let's look at more examples. Along the path. Walk along the path. Along the river. Row the boat along the river. Along the railway. Move along the railway. Along the corridor. Walk along the corridor. Along the highway. Drive along the highway. Along the street. Cycle along the street. Along the wall. Walk along the wall. Along the line. Cut along the line. Next, across. We use across when we talk about movement from one point to another point over the surface of a wide or big area. For example, the field and basketball court. Across the field. Run across the field. Across the court. Run across the court. In this picture, the car moves from one point to the other point, crossing the bridge and river. Across the bridge. Drive across the bridge. Across the river. Drive across the river. Across the road or street. Walk across the road. Walk across the street. Across the sky. Fly across the sky. Across the sea. Fly across the sea. Across the table. Flick the coin across the table. Let's look at the third one. Through. We use through when we talk about movement in an area with objects around. The objects are either tall or short. For example, long grass. Through the long grass. Move through the long grass. Let's look at more examples. This picture shows that many people gathered around that forms a crowd. Through the crowd. Move through the crowd. Through the town. The river flows through the town. Through the jungle. Move through the jungle. This picture shows an area where many flowers are grown, becoming a flower bed. Through the flower bed. Walk through the flower bed. Apart from that, we also use through to talk about movement going from one end and out of the other. For example, through the tunnel. Move through the tunnel. Through the window. jump through the window. By the way, this picture is only an example. Do not try this at home. It's dangerous. Other examples include through the eye of the needle. Pull the thread through the eye of the needle. Through the keyhole. Look through the keyhole. Through the door or doorway. Walk through the door or walk through the doorway. Now let's recap. Along is used to show movement in a long, straight or nearly straight line. Across is used to talk about movement from one point to one point over a surface of a wide area. Through is used to talk about movement in an area with objects around. It is also used to show an object moving from one end and out of the other. With this information in mind, let's do some practice. Based on the pictures given, fill in the blanks with along, across, or through. Please pause the video to try answering the questions and resume when you are done. Now you can take out your red pen to check your answers. Through the tunnel, across the court, along the river, across the street, along the path. Please pause the video to try answering the questions and resume when you are done. Now you can take out your red pen to check your answers. Along the railway, across the field, through the hole, through the jungle, across the bridge. Please pause the video to try answering the questions and resume when you are done. Now you can take out your red pen to check your answers. Through the window, through the door, across the room, across the sea, across the road. Please pause the video to try answering the questions and resume when you are done. Now you can take out your red pen to check your answers. Along the corridor, through the crowd, through the hoop, across the sky, through the flowers. Next, writing task. Write a short paragraph to describe the movement of the person in each picture using along, across, and through. Picture 1. This is Sam. We will start from the path. He moves following the long path. We use along. Walks along the path. Sam walks along the path. Next, the field. The field is a wide area. Here we use across. Across the field. He walks across the field. Lastly, the jungle. There are many tall trees around the jungle. We use through. Through the jungle. He walks through the jungle. Hereby, let's add in some connectors like firstly, then, and after that to connect the sentences. And here's the paragraph. Firstly, Sam walks along the path. Then, he walks across the field. After that, he walks through the jungle. Picture 2. This is Ken. Let's start with the lake. The lake is a wide area. We use across. Ken rows the boat across the lake. Next, the house. He enters the house from the door and comes out from the back. The suitable preposition to use here is through. He walks through the house. Next, he moves in a straight line following the road. We use along. He walks along the road. To connect the three sentences, we shall insert some connectors. And here's the paragraph. Firstly, Ken rows the boat across the lake. Then, he walks through the house. After that, he walks along the road. Picture 3. This is David. In the first part, He walks following the straight line in the corridor. We use along. David walks along the corridor. Next, there are a lot of people in the hall blocking his way. He needs to make his way out of the crowd. Here we use through. He walks through the crowd. When he is out of the crowd, he walks in a wide open space in the hall to get to the other side. The suitable preposition to use is across. He walks across the hall. Let's insert some connectors. And here's the paragraph. Firstly, David walks along the corridor. Then, he walks through the crowd. After that, he walks across the hall. Picture 4. This is a train. Firstly, the train moves into the tunnel and comes out at the end of it. Here we use through. Then it moves across the river. After that, it travels following the railway. We use along. It travels along the railway. Here's how you write the paragraph. Firstly, the train moves through the tunnel. Then, it moves across the river. After that, it travels along the railway. We have come to the end of today's lesson. I hope this video can help you to understand these 3 prepositions better. Thanks for joining me. Bye!